May the Force be with you. It is May 4th. It is Star Wars Day. And for this Friday feeling, thought we'd do something completely different, not business related, not marketing or analytics related at all, just a little bit of fun. The day is Star Wars Day, May 4th. It is so called because of the expression from the movies, May the Force be with you. And it's interesting when you think about the two factions around this mythical energy. There's the Jedi perspective and the Sith perspective. The Jedi code even says, there is no emotion, there's peace. There's no ignorance, there is knowledge. There's no passion, there is serenity. There's no chaos, there's harmony. There's no death, there is the Force. That's one perspective. And then the other perspective, the code of the Sith, is peace is a lie, there's only passion. Through passion I gain strength. Through strength I gain power. Through power I gain victory. Through victory I break my chains. The Force shall set me free. And I think it's kind of a neat way of looking at this idea of this uncontrollable but usable, channelable energy, and depending on which pre or post Disney universe in Star Wars you believe in, a whole bunch of different perspectives on this. But what's interesting and fun about it is that neither perspective is right. Neither perspective is the correct one, in the sense that they're both very one-sided. There is the Jedi perspective, which is abolishing a lot of what individuality is. You're ridding yourself of emotion and passion so that you can gain peace and serenity. You're getting rid of disorder and chaos to create harmony. And of course, we know life isn't like that. Life is filled with emotions and passions, and sometimes those are good things, sometimes those are bad things. There's chaos, but without chaos, you can't have luck. And so there's that perspective. And on the side of the Sith, which is typically associated with the dark side, the negative, you have saying the passion, strength, and power, and victory. All of these things that you can see that they can lead to dark ends, to improper ends. Someone striving for strength and power and victory is probably going to make some choices that might not be ethically great. Seeking power for its own ends, or seeking to win just to win, are not necessarily great outcomes. But again, these are two perspectives that are halves of a whole. And so if you go one or the other, you don't see that point where they intersect, where you have to have both emotion and logic, where you have to have peace and passion, you have to have chaos and order, where you have to have serenity and a little bit of energy. This is a really good analogy for where we are today as a society, as a world, because we, thanks to things like technology and social media, have become very, very contained in our own little bubbles. Like this is the right perspective, this is the wrong perspective, and there's not a lot of that. Okay, well, where do they intersect? Where's the balance between them? Think about how people approach religion and politics, and even business, even in marketing. There are in the debates that we have about what's the appropriate method for doing X or Y, we take very, very polar perspectives. I was having a conversation just yesterday with someone who was saying, in their industry, they've been doing more handling of crises than ever before because so people are just digging into their position. In the old pre-Disney acquisition of the Star Wars franchise, the new Jedi Order under Luke Skywalker tried to find that balance, to say neither perspective is right. Both perspectives ended up with massive losses of life and really bad things happening. And so if you can find that middle ground between the two, that's the way to go. And it's kind of telling, actually, that in the post-acquisition, the powers that be at Disney Corporate have reverted that entire universe to just those two black and white perspectives. You're either one or the other. There's no middle ground. Kind of interesting because it speaks about sort of the ethos of the times of the society in which we're doing stuff. When you look at what's happening in all the other things like superhero movies and stuff, they are tending back towards that, one perspective or the other, and no middle ground. The takeaway from this is, whether it's Star Wars or Marvel or DC or Washington DC or the church or temple or mosque, there is no one right answer to anything, because the idea that there is a right answer is in itself kind of a delusion. There are better and worse outcomes. There are outcomes that do more harm than good, outcomes that do more good than harm, but there's always going to be a mix. It's very difficult to get pure anything. Anyone who's done any work in chemistry knows that it's extremely hard to get a pure anything. And if we can figure out in ourselves, in our businesses, in our marketing, in our work with machines, that balance and that mix of things is what will really yield sustainable long-term results, we'll be much better off. So, on Star Wars Day, hope you enjoy it, regardless of which faction you associate with more. And may the Force be with you.